Like I started 3 weeks before early admissions, cracking like a little Hey guys, it's Giselle Ransom back with another video. This is going to be my third video of my college How I Got into Stanford series. This video is going to be about my college essays specifically my Stanford college essays. If y'all are interested in seeing my other like college essays and like supplementals that I submitted to my other schools that I got into, let me know. I'm free to talk about it. But other than that, this video we're going to be going over my personal essay, my supplementals to Stanford, and then I'm just going to give you guys some like overall advice that like I kind of learned from writing my essays and like approaches that I took that may not be as conventional. So other than that, let's just go ahead and get straight into it. Okay, so for my first essay I'm going to go ahead and talk about is the big personal essay. Dun, dun, dun. Guys, I'm just going to be so honest. Like I started 3 weeks before early admissions for Stanford was due. It took a while to write mine in a way because I was trying to make sure like my grammar was right. Like I was really compelling a story. And I took the approach of like creating a single theme around my essay. I think the prompt I chose was the challenges or aspects about your life. And so I wrote about my life as an African-American woman, not only like the stereotypical like racism, blah, blah, blah. Like I wrote from the standpoint of an African-American woman that wasn't fulfilling societal's views of how they should be and how they should act and how they are perceived. And so I centered all of it around the idea of a painting, and I made like the analogy or that I'm a painting and the world controls me, blah, 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 and they paint my story. And then I like in the end wrap it up with how I fought against that and like how I became into myself, and mainly just telling my story through that. Now we're going to go ahead and go into supplementals. So Stanford has a total of 8 supplementals. I didn't even realize there was that many. It is, I think, a lot of essays in order to gauge who you are, which I personally love because there were so many essays, you get to show different sides of yourself and stuff. So their first prompt was, what is the most significant challenge that society faces today? And that was the 50-word one. So I wrote about system rebuilding, and I'm just gonna be honest, I was really bold. Like I honestly was gonna change this one because I was so scared. I was like, ooh, is this a little too bold? Like, am I saying a little too much? But like, I was like, okay, whatever. It's my belief, and so I'm just gonna put it out there. And so I wrote about the world needing system rebuilding and how we need to reformat how we think and how we like approach things, and the hypocrisy of the world changing. And the second supplemental, that was 50 words, is how did you spend your last 2 summers? Previously, if you guys watched my last video of my stats and extracurriculars, I wrote about my extracurriculars or my NASA Seas and the MITES program. The third prompt for supplementals was, what historical moment or event do you wish you could have witnessed? And this is a 50-word one again. And I chose to write about my great-grandma. She was one of the first Black nurses in Seattle. And so that's a moment I hold close and dear to my heart because just I would love to see like how she dealt with things and the education and access to tools and supplies that she had and how she made do and how she was able to support herself and her children. For the fourth supplemental, it is the prompt, briefly elaborate on one of your extracurriculars, a job you hold, or responsibilities you have for your family. And this is a 50-word essay. And then I wrote about Texas Association of Student Councils. I talked more about it in my last video again. I specifically talked about what Texas Association and like the position we hold in the organization means to me and how I like implement it into my life. And so that was my main approach to that essay. The fifth prompt, it's list 5 things that are important to you. And this is a 50-word essay also. I'm gonna be honest, guys. I was a little scared because I took this literally. I actually listed 5 things. Like, I didn't write 1 blah blah because, 2 blah 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 because. Like, I literally wrote like 1 this thing, 2 this thing, 3 this thing, and I wrote my 5 values that I hold close to my heart. The 6th Stanford essay prompt is: the Stanford community is deeply curious and driven to learn in and out of the classroom. Reflect on an idea or experience that makes you genuinely excited about learning. And so for this essay, I focused on like my curiosity and how I've always been curious of the world and how it functions and always asking why. And so I wrote about my experiences of like being infatuated with NASA and like the space and Mars specifically, and like I've always been so curious about like if there's life on Mars, or like how like the rovers like do all testing there. And so I've always like been very infatuated in that, and so I wrote about that. My 7th essay is on the prompt: virtually all of Stanford undergraduates live on campus. Write a note to your future roommate that reveals something about you or that will help your roommate and us get to know you better. And this is a 250-word essay. So I wrote an actual like letter. So like I had dear blah, 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 like, and then a body, and then a sincerely my name. And so in that essay, I really like it was really informal. Like I was like cracking like a little jokes. Like I later wrote lol in my freaking essay. Like, I kid you not. I wrote about like my like interests and hobbies and stuff. And like I really took this essay as like an approach to express my personality, because the other essays are mainly about like not only my personality but more of the work side and my drive and motivation. But I want to show like my more laid back like activities that aren't academic and all that kind of stuff. And so that's what I took this essay as. And then the last supplemental essay that I submitted was the prompt: please describe what aspect of your life experiences, interests, and character would help you make a distinct contribution as an undergraduate to Stanford University. And so this is where I recounted my story about being diagnosed with dyslexia. In 4th grade, I was diagnosed. So I told my story about like journeying through dyslexia and dealing with it and learning how to cope with it. Really just letting it not define me in a way, and still pushing myself and like really finding a way through it. And so that was all for the essays. She was a lot. It was a lot of yapping, but I love to yap. But I'm gonna go ahead and get into just some tidbits and advice to anyone applying to college. First of all, good luck. You're gonna do great. I already know you're stupendous. You're awesome. You're iconic. But my first advice I give to anyone applying to college is be bold. Like I mentioned throughout this video, like there were some essays that I was like, ooh, I don't know if that's what that's supposed to be, or if that's like too much. But like in the end, I was like, okay, whatever. That's my opinion. That's how I perceive it. That's how I take this prompt, this essay, and like this is how I want to approach it. And in the end, I think that really just helped again show my personality. Because you shouldn't hide your personality. They want to know who you are. They want to see you. And so you really have to shine through and make those bold decisions. Don't be scared to get a little creative and outside of the box of what people have seen done and have gotten a success. Like, don't just see my video and be like, oh, that means I need to do it this. No, see my video, but you need to take it with your own approach, because it's your personal experience and your viewpoint. And that kind of goes into my next point of show your personality. Like, don't be afraid to show different sides of yourself. Like I said, with these essays, because there's so many, I got to show so many more sides of myself and my story. Like I took each essay or like as an opportunity to show a different aspect of me, a different value of mine, a different core like belief. And I think that's a really good way to use the essays, because that's what the essays are for. It's to show your own self outside of just your numbers, stats, and all that. And so I think definitely make sure you show who you are and what you think, what you believe, what your core values are, because that's how they find if you are a good fit for their university. And then my third is, that kind of goes into my last point again, is show a theme. In each essay, I took it as an opportunity to show a theme or connect it back to a previous theme that I already had. So my dyslexia essay tied into how I'm not afraid of failure and how I welcome it. And that was my theme of that little part. In my community, what my curiosity and essay, and I showed my curiosity and how I've always been curious. And that was my theme, the theme of my 6 essays, curiosity and how I love being curious. And then again, that curiosity ties into my other essay of what I did the past 2 summers, how I've always been curious and I always want to challenge myself. And again, that failure also ties into that, not what I did the past 2 summers and stuff. And again, and then all my essays, I chose a theme that tied together in a way and all cohesively showed one of my core values. And then my last little tidbit, going into a little bit of be bold, but be creative. Do not stray away from different approaches. I know someone that literally submitted an essay to Ivies that used emojis. She literally put emojis and slang into it. And for me, I literally listed out a list for the list of your 5 core values. And I had different sentence structures of short sentence, long sentence, and just don't be afraid. Don't take it solely as it's a English essay, I need to have blah, 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 blah. No, this is not just an English, academic essay. This is a essay to show who you are, and so you need to show your personality through that. Just be creative, don't be afraid, and yeah, that's pretty much all I have for this video. Thanks for watching. Come back next Tuesday for another video. Again, if you have any requests on if you want to see different videos and more information about certain things, comment it down below. I do read all my comments and I try to respond to all my comments. I'm just getting through most of my testing, so I should have a lot more time to respond a lot more quickly. But again, don't be afraid to comment down below, but make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Remember, come back every Tuesday, put on the bell, make sure you come back, and I'll see you guys next video. Bye.